is hardware, man. There's no plan here.
So you are something of a hardware or plumbing expert. And,
Yeah, that was quite by
so
accident.
I have a question for you that I think a lot of people have when they come into the hardware store. There are basically two types of plungers that we sell. There's kind of the conventional ones that, with the big suction cup. And then there are this sort of newfangled one that's kind of looks like an accordion. And so what's the difference between the two?
Well, the old one, you just jammed it down there and you pushed real hard, and then you pulled back and everything exploded in your face.
Right.
And that often loosened whatever was down there, but whatever was down there is just absolutely appalling filth. You don't ever want to deal with that on any level. So finally they came up with this purple thing that looks like an accordion, and it was great. But, people, as they, I don't know anything about that, just, no, you don't understand. This accordion plunger, you put that in the toilet, and you push down, and it blows everything right out to the bottom of hell.
All right.
Yeah, it was just a fabulous thing,
It's a
and
great
you don't
design.
get it, nastiness all over your face in your nice suit, and your children don't scream and tell their friends.
So you were hired. When were you hired at the hardware store, and who hired you?
7 years ago, I was fired by Morgan's. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus.
Morgan's Hardware.
Yeah, Morgan's. Plumbing and electrical, they're just idiots. In any case, so I went to, City People's was close, so I went and applied, and 3 months later they called me and said, yeah, come on down. And so I went and yacked with them, and there was this sort of reasonable looking guy and this diminutive female who was older, and hi Kat. and she didn't say much, but Patrick talked a lot about what do you know, what do you do, so on and so forth, and he seemed okay, seemed like a real decent guy to work with. And I liked that. And at one point, they said, no, why did you leave Morgan's? And I said, they fired me. And they said, why'd they fire you? And I said, because they wanted to play fucking Rush Limbaugh on the radio all day long. And I couldn't stand the thought of that. So I told them that, I don't have to listen to your politics.
It's hard to believe that anybody in Seattle listens to, Rush Limbaugh at work, but...
Do you think I wasn't mystified by that? I was equally, absolutely bedazzled by that. So, about after I said that a month later, they found some stupid reason to fire me, and I was just delighted. I was ecstatic. They were just so syphilitic and stupid. In any case... So Patrick is yakking, and he's getting a drift that I know what I'm doing, and Judith is kind of happy that I didn't like Limbaugh.
Yeah.
And she essentially said, and I really love this, she essentially said, well, around here, if somebody talks like that around here, you can throw them out. Yes. All I wanted to be able to do is be political. In a reasonable way there, and that was fine with me. And so they hired me, but I go to work for him, and I'm working my ass off, and Patrick is just grumpy. He's got this miserable look on his face like every day. And then he'll talk to me, and he sounds reasonable. Mm-hmm. But it's just grumpiness. It's This
He
isn't
was the
fitting.
hardware manager?
Yeah, he was the hardware manager. It just isn't fitting into my 5-year plan and stuff like that. Crazy bullshit like that. This is hardware, man. There's no plan here. We're hoping to get out of here and go someplace else, like heaven. Death would be better. And so at some point, I just was. It was just ridiculous, and it got even more silly. I'll tell you how silly it got. They're all being PC, politically correct, but they're politically correct on the things they want to be politically correct about. So I mentioned to somebody that, God, that girl's beautiful over there. That woman is just so attractive. And it gets back to Judith, after they hire me. And Judith calls me in the back room and said, Shelley heard you say some woman was beautiful. So? what the hell? What are you talking about? What does that mean? And she says, how do you think that made Shelley feel? Now, Shelley is the mother of, what's her name?
Martha Plimpton.
Martha Plimpton, Shelley Plimpton, right? And she's a pain in the ass. And she's from back east and, you know, plugged into this, that, and the other thing. But obviously she's spun off and ended up in Seattle and in Nowheresville buying toys for city people. So I said...
She must have had some sort of 5-year plan.
Yeah, she must have had a 100-year plan. But in any case, she says, how did you think that made Shelley feel? Shelley just feels like she's not attractive. I said, are you serious, Judith? Are you serious? I can't say that some woman's attractive because somebody here will think they're not attractive? How the hell does that work? So I'm giggling. I'm saying
It's not even politically correct.
I know it
It's
is.
politically confused.
What's politically correct is, and I came to realize that I was older when I went there. You know, I was 60, 59. And I realized that you could be gay, you could be transvestite, you could be, you know, covered with, you know, things poking through your ears and your nose and bleeding eyeballs. You could be anything, but you couldn't be an old man that loved women. That you could not be. That was not nowhere near. That was just awful and horrible and wrong and not possible. So you know, I just, oh, Jesus Christ. Well, Grumpy Patrick, this is great. Grumpy Patrick gets himself in an imbroglio with Steve. Steve in receiving a raggedy hippie, you know him.
Yeah.
He's like, his teeth are a mess. He's, you know, he smoked dope for 100 years, smoked cigarettes.
And that music he listens to, it's not like he's listening to Grateful Dead. He's listening like trance.
And it's so loud. And he doesn't sing to any of it. He doesn't memorize it.
And it's different every single day. I mean, it's something.
Well, did you notice what he does? He seeks out the most obscure, like, electronic Swedish music. What the hell is that? I'd come in and say, Steve, what the hell is that? Oh, and he'd mention some Swedish band, and they used to be in a folk band, but they got into electronic music.
I guess we just need to be grateful he wasn't playing Grateful Dead.
Morning, noon, night.
Exactly.
Well, he could, you know, the cover of the Rolling Stone was all right.
Well, so anyway,
So anyway, Steve and Patrick get nose to nose and get grumpy, but Steve goes on the internet for some reason. I don't know what he's looking for. I have no idea. Oh, I know how it happened. You know Mercedes.
Sure.
Mercedes was there then, and she's perusing the internet looking for dyke girls that are nude that she can, you know, look at and get plugged into, so to speak. And she comes upon this picture of Patrick posing nude, you know, all erect and full of himself, and advertising for a gay girlfriend. He wants to fuck a gay girl.
I think I've said it before. Isn't it hard enough already? Why make it that much? I don't know.
Yeah, right. So
he's a specialist.
In any case, so Mercedes goes running to Steve and tells Steve about this. So Steve prints out this picture, and every
Oh my
time,
God.
so he's got the goods on Patrick. So he lets it be known he lets it leak through the pipeline that this is understood and known in the pipeline. So suddenly Patrick gets all kind of smarmy and nice and weird smarmy, and he's being okay. He's not bugging Steve anymore, and slowly but surely he vanishes. He quit. That was nice. He was a good manager, but he was so fucking grumpy. I mean, I do not understand a man that says, I have this job, and this job's a pain in the ass, and so it's going to be a pain in the ass. That's never going to change, and I'm grumpy, but I don't have to lay it on you. Is that absurd? Yeah. And she, she didn't say much, but Patrick talked a lot about what do you know, what do you do, so on and so forth. And he seemed okay. Seemed like a real decent guy to work with. And I like that. And at one point, they said, "No, why did you leave Morgan's?" And I said, "They fired me."